know who told us he was going to be a dictator on day one, and damn if he isn't a dictator.
I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of the garbage. I am sick of the lies. I am tired of the constant propaganda. I'm tired of the dangerous rhetoric that is prevalent throughout the mainstream media. It's only been, what, about 6 weeks since we have lost Charlie Kirk? You could make the case that one of the reasons that some doofus kid shot Charlie Kirk is because of the constant rhetoric that we see in the media. And look. It's not just the yentas on The View. The yentas are just who we are talking about this time. For the last decade, the whoopee cushion and her collection of yentas who have been hypnotized by her toxic boodle breeze, they have been telling the lonely women in their audience that Donald Trump is a dictator, his supporters are fascist, they are modern-day Nazis, ISIS, the Gestapo, run to the Death Star for safety. The ladies on The View have been spreading these lies for so long that for some people, the lies have now become the truth. The media has normalized this behavior. 15 years ago, you would never accuse someone of being a Nazi. You would never accuse federal law enforcement agents of being the Gestapo. If you said something asinine like, defund the police, call social worker Shanice, your dumbass would have been thrown off of television. Do you guys remember the show Seventh Heaven? It used to come on the WB network back in the late 90s. I believe the network is now called Ion, better known as the proud home of the WNBA dump on Friday nights during the summer. But growing up, my sister used to like to watch Seventh Heaven. Came on right before wrestling on Monday night, so she would get to watch Seventh Heaven, then I would get the TV so I could smell what The Rock was cooking. For those that don't know, the main character in Seventh Heaven was a Protestant preacher. He and his wife had 7 kids, hence the name Seventh Heaven. There was an episode where the preacher gets shot by some kid who was pissed off because the preacher's son was dating his ex-girlfriend. But the subplot of that episode, it was the preacher's youngest daughter wanting to play a violent video game and her parents not allowing her to play it. Long story short, she brings the video game home anyway and gets caught, gets a lecture from her dad. She asks him why she's not allowed to play the video game even though it's make-believe. The game is as real as the pretend basketball in the WNBA. The preacher explains to his young daughter that the first time you see someone get shot, it's shocking, tough to look at. Maybe you close your eyes or you turn away from the TV, maybe you even change the channel. The second time you see someone get shot, not nearly as bad as the first time. Once you see that level of violence over and over and over, it's no longer surprising at all. Matter of fact, it becomes routine. You become desensitized to it. It's normalized. It's just someone else on the news losing their life. It becomes almost no big deal when it should be the complete opposite. The same sentiment applies with lies. The same sentiment applies with rhetoric. The first time the whoopee cushion cranks her leg and unleashes her boodle breeze while calling Donald Trump a dictator, lonely women cover their nose. Maybe they spray some perfume to combat the toxic smell of the boodle breeze. The second time the boodle breeze is released and the whoopee cushion calls the Trumper a fascist, smell isn't as strong as it was the first time. Maybe they spray a light air freshener instead of perfume. But after 10 years of inhaling the boodle breeze, lonely women eventually become hypnotized. Instead of rejecting the smell, they become addicted to it. They bite into the shit sandwich. Radicalized lunatics They believe that Don Trump actually wants to be a dictator, and maybe they take a shot at him. Not once, but twice. And yet, for some reason, the yentas on The View, they are still allowed to spread these lies without consequences. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So I'm going to get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. One of my channel members reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and thanked me for linking him up with Sugar Mountain Trading. He woke up one Friday morning with back pain and had to drive several hours to a friend's wedding. He applied some CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading. 15 minutes later, back pain was gone. My wife also deals with nagging back pain from time to time. Tried over-the-counter stuff, chiropractor, but none of that ever seems to work. Within 5-10 minutes of me applying CBD oil from Sugar Mountain Trading, her pain is gone. I'm telling you, it's damn near magical. Recently, I gave some of the CBD lotion to my dad. He has been installing and repairing sprinkler system my entire life, so he's got a lot of pain in his knees. He hates taking pills, so I gave him some of the CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain. His knees are now pain-free, even at 74 years old. All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL20, BTL20. Save 20% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Yesterday morning, Whoopi Goldberg and her flatulating friends were once again wasting 60 minutes of valuable airtime. Not only were they wasting valuable airtime, they were polluting the air with toxic gas. They were talking about the latest myth in the media that Don Trump is going to run for a third term. According to the yentas, Don Trump is just going to refuse to leave the White House. He's going to make 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue his permanent residence and rule over the country as a dictator. For starters, if Donald Trump is a dictator, he is the worst dictator I have ever seen. If the Trumper was a dictator, the first thing he would do is get the yentas off my TV. If Don was a king, my personal favorite yenta, Asuncion. She would not be in hair and makeup every morning. Son Hostin would be in the prison cafeteria serving freshly grilled wiener to her fellow inmates. The thing is, the ladies on The View, they know Donald Trump's not a dictator, but they are being paid to say otherwise. And once again, the paid propagandists, they were using questionable rhetoric yesterday morning. Whoopi Goldberg was asking the audience what they were going to do to stop Donald Trump. Watch for yourself.
Say if the Supreme Court ruled and he was able to be the Republican nominee for a third time, there would still, I believe, be an election in this country.
What about this is why I love y'all.
Everything.
I'm not going
what if he
there today.
militarizes everything? He's sending the National Guard in. What if he does that?
He's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to try everything he can do, and he doesn't care what we think. He's going to do this. He's going to write something and say, and he'll say, I found a loophole, and so I can do this. Not consecutive doesn't really matter. If he wants to do it and there's no opposition, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
There needs to be opposition. Just so we're clear, you have nothing to say about any of this. Just understand that, okay? Republicans have pretty much given him free rein up till now. Are they going to let this happen? Are y'all going to let it happen?
First of all, how do lonely women sit through an hour of this garbage every morning? These ladies talk a lot without saying a damn thing. But it's the last part that's kind of concerning. You have nothing to say about any of that? Are you going to let this happen? Are you going to let this happen? Do I think Whoopi Goldberg meant anything malicious by that? No, but that's not the point. If this were a one-off, if this was something that happened rarely on The View, that would be one thing. But these blatant lies, this rhetoric, it has been happening on The View every morning for the better part of the last 10 years. And like I said, it's not just The View. It's everywhere throughout the mainstream media. Donald Trump was shot at twice last year. Have we already forgotten? Every time something like that happens, the ladies on The View are suddenly apologetic. We condemn violence. We only fight with our words and our powerful boodle flutes. They're always quick to apologize. They're always quick to feel bad after the fact. It has been 6 weeks since we lost Charlie Kirk. 6 weeks. And here we are with the same rhetoric on The View. Same lies, same propaganda. Trump is a dictator. Trump is a king. ICE is the Gestapo. Orange man bad. It's become so normalized that people are no longer bothered by it. Whoopi Goldberg should be fired. The entire panel on The View should be fired. This toxic dump is a part of the news division at ABC. Last I checked, news programming was supposed to base their opinions on facts. Well, actually, news programming is supposed to deliver facts without bias, but we are decades past that being the case. I don't have a problem with people giving opinions based on fact. I don't have a problem with people being wrong. Hell, I'm wrong all the time. Trust me, every time I'm wrong about something, I'm the first to know about it because you guys are quick to tell me, which is fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with people being wrong. I would never call for someone to be fired for being wrong. My problem with the yentas on The View, they are intentionally spreading lies. They are lying to their audience on purpose. If The View was on Comedy Central, who cares? But you're on a major network. You're on FCC airwaves, and you are intentionally lying to the entire country. People are losing their lives over this toxic garbage, and every time it happens, the rhetoric temporarily disappears. Then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, it's right back to normal. Enough is enough. Get Whoopi Goldberg and her flatulating friends off my TV. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.